I've never said this publicly before, not in a video, and not even to some of the people closest to me. But if sharing this helps even one person, then it's worth it. When I was 15, I tried to end it all. No one knew, and back then, I didn't really want anyone to know. But now, 9 years later, I'm so glad that I failed. Because everything that's come after, I could have never imagined any of it, and I'm so grateful. So let me tell you why I felt like that. I had just moved. New city, new school, new everything. All my childhood friends were gone overnight. I didn't get to see them every day at lunch, no more familiar anything. And the school I was going to, I didn't want to be there. I hated it before I even stepped inside. It felt like my life had just gotten rugged from beneath me. There were some other things going on too, but I'll keep those to myself. I didn't tell anyone how I felt. Not my parents, not my sisters, not my friends. I kept it all in, trying to act normal. But inside, I felt like I was slowly disappearing. Now, looking back 9 years later, I can admit that I was being extremely dramatic, because we only moved 30 minutes away. And I was still in contact every day with my old friends. But at the time, I thought it was the most life-changing thing that could have possibly happened to me. Because when your whole world feels like it's crumbling, even small changes can feel like the end of everything. Now let me tell you the moment of my attempt. It happened on a hot summer day. I was out with some people, and we pulled outside a small shop. Everyone else got out of the car, but I told them I'd stay behind. And they paused for a second. They said, "It's gonna get too hot in the car, bro. It's over 100 degrees outside." So I told them to give me the key, and we agreed that I would turn on the AC. But I didn't. I had no intention of turning it on. And I had every intention of sitting in that car and just letting the heat take me, because I had heard of a few stories about it before, so I decided that's how I'll do it. I had every intention of burning and suffocating in that back seat. And I stayed there for a while, long enough to be soaked in sweat, long enough for the windows to start fogging up, long enough to feel like, oh, maybe this is about to work. There was no goodbye letter. It was just quiet, numb, and heavy. And sitting in the back of that car, reflecting on everything for however long I was in there, I asked myself, would anyone even care? I've had an extremely loving family my entire life, so I know the answer to that question. But I was being dramatic back then. And through all that stillness, one very specific thought broke through everything. At the time, my first nephew was gonna be born in a few months. He wasn't even here yet, but somehow I already felt responsible for him. I kept thinking, what if I stay? What if I get to meet him? What if I could be someone in his life who matters so much to him? I didn't want him growing up without me. I didn't want to miss his first words, his birthday parties, his questions. I didn't want to be just a name people whispered about when he got older. Just that one thought was enough to move me. And in that 1 second, I was like, yo, it's kinda hot in here. And I got out of the car. I stumbled into the store, and I pretended like nothing had just happened. Nobody knew what I had just tried to do, and I didn't tell anyone until years later. I told a few of my friends. But that moment, that was the beginning of everything. That was the day I didn't die, and the day I unknowingly started a completely different life. Now fast forward 9 years. That nephew that I decided to stay alive for, he calls me his brother now. And I've got almost a dozen nieces and nephews I get to laugh with, teach things to, and watch them grow up. They climb on my back, they tell me little secrets, they beat me up whenever I'm laying on the floor. Most importantly, my parents didn't have to bury their son. My sisters didn't have to bury their only brother. My friends didn't have to show up to school the next day wondering why I never came back. All of that could have disappeared. Because back then I was hurting, and I believed that the pain would last forever, but it didn't. I would have missed everything that I've seen in the last 9 years and everything that I get to see in the future. Every late night drive, every meal, every laugh. You don't just end pain when you leave. You end everything, and that includes all the good that hasn't happened yet. If you're feeling like that right now, like it's too heavy, like it won't get better, like no one understands, I get it. I really do, because I've been there. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it is brutal. It's exhausting to keep showing up when your brain keeps asking what the point is. But let me tell you something I couldn't hear back then. You aren't weak for feeling this way. You're human. And more importantly, you're not alone. Even if it feels like it right now. I need you to really hear this. Ending your life doesn't just stop your pain. It transfers it. Transfers it to your family, your friends, the people who love you, even if you don't think they do. In the last 2 years, I've lost 4 of my friends, aged between 23 to 25. None of them took their own lives. It was just a bunch of freak accidents, just 4 different times. Like a car crash or a head injury, stuff like that. And I went to each of their funerals and saw their parents having to bury their sons. And trust me, there is no recovery from that. The image of those parents and siblings burying their young adult children and brothers is something I'll never get out of my mind. So if you think the world would be better off without you, you're wrong. The world needs what you haven't even done yet. People who will love you, some of them you haven't even met yet, so stay long enough to meet them. Here's another thing that spoke to me back then. If nothing else, let this be the one thing that stays with you. In the Quran, chapter 2, verse 286, it says, "God does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear." That verse got me through more nights than I can count, because it means your struggle isn't random. It's not a punishment, nor is it a sign that you're weak. It's a test you were built to pass. Even if you don't believe in God, there's something powerful in the idea that this pain is survivable, that you were made strong enough to outlast it, that there's a version of you on the other side of this storm who's smiling. You just haven't met that version of you yet. But that version of you exists, and every day you stay alive is a step closer to becoming that person. That version of you is waiting to just build yourself. So don't give up. Please don't give up. And now that I continue to be on the other side of all this, here's some real advice that I wish some people had told me earlier. I'm gonna be blunt, and I might hurt some feelings, but this is what a lot of people need to hear. Not all of it will apply to you, but some of it will. So take what sticks, and please forgive me for being blunt. Number 1, stop listening to sad music. It keeps you stuck. It makes you feel like you're processing, but really, you're just rehearsing your sadness. People will listen to a sad song and be like, "Oh my god, this is so me." No, you are so it, if that makes sense. What I'm trying to say is that you become what you surround yourself with. And if you're listening to music, which is one of the biggest thing that influences you, you are programming yourself to stay in that loop of sadness. So please don't listen to sad music. Number 2, eat better. You are what you eat. Real food means cleaner thoughts. It matters a lot more than you think to eat fruits, veggies, protein, good fats, good carbs, having a balanced diet. Make sure to eat whole fat food because it's really important for your brain. Number 3 is to get sunlight. Move your body. Even if it's a 10-minute walk, it helps. Your body affects your brain more than you realize, so try and make it a habit. Go out during golden hour, watch the sunset, walk around. Don't listen to sad music on that walk. Just listen to the birds. Listen to all the natural noise around you, and I promise you'll start seeing a difference. Number 4 is to drink more water. If you don't drink enough water, just drink more. I promise. I don't have to explain this one too much, just do it. Next is to take life one day at a time. You don't need to fix your whole life this week. Just make it through today, and then the next day, and then the next day. Next is don't compare yourself to people online. Most of it's fake. Even the relatable stuff is all made for clicks. And the last one is to take accountability. Please forgive me here. But a lot of people, especially in their teens, put on a victim mindset, where they are the king or queen of their own worlds and only they can be right, and everybody else is wrong, and if you go against my opinion, you're wrong, and you hate me. So this is where I'm gonna be the most blunt. I need you to please look at your situation, take a step back, and take an unbiased look. Am I playing a victim card, and is that making me feel this way? For example, maybe your parents don't let you go out really late at night. They're probably right for doing that, but a lot of teens would automatically think, oh my god, my parents are so oppressive, I can't live like this. Unless your parents are literally abusive or literally oppressive, they are probably just doing things out of love for you, but you just don't understand yet. So just take an unbiased step back and truly think if you are playing a victim mindset. Again, I ask for your forgiveness for that one because people don't want to hear it, but it's something I wish that people told me a long time ago. When you've been to the bottom and you decide to live, the next step isn't just survival, it's protecting the life you're building. But a lot of people heal just enough, then fall into different kinds of escape. And one of the hardest to talk about is the P word addiction. The corn addiction. We'll replace it with a P. It doesn't just affect your mind, it affects your confidence, your relationships, your ability to show up for love. That's what I talk about in my last video. If you're ready to protect the future you're fighting for, then I'll meet you there.